Bharat, start.
Yeah, I'm just unmuting Dinesh.
Yeah, हो गया.
Okay. So, good morning, friends. Welcome to this series of our meetings. On behalf of Tax Friends Mumbai, Tax Practice Association Thane, Income Tax Bar Association Varanasi, Income Tax Bar Association Prayagraj, and Beyond the Tax Practice Association, I invite you all and welcome you all for today's Zoom meeting. We got two interesting topics lined up. This is the first time, I think so, in our meetings. We are having two meetings, two speakers in the same meeting. So yes, let me first welcome CA Dinesh Tejwani from Mumbai. Dinesh is going to speak on how to identify fake messages on social media. A brief note on Dinesh. Okay. CA Dinesh Tejwani is a chartered accountant and an information technology entrepreneur. He has spent over the last 3 decades conceptualizing and building over 15 different ventures. He is a founder of Proactly, a compliance management solution company. His key strengths are providing end-to-end strategic consulting to software product businesses, including India entry strategy for digital products. He is active in mentoring startups and speaking at various events on digital transformation. With this a small introduction, I leave the floor open for Dineshji. Dineshji, please take over.
Thank you. Thank you so much and good morning to everyone. It's my pleasure to be speaking to members of 5 associations this morning. I just take 30 minutes to complete my presentation and maybe at the end of the session, we can take up the questions. So one small correction to what Mr. Bharat mentioned about the topic today. My topics is limited to spotting and avoiding fake messages on WhatsApp. Now, social media is a very wide area. What I'm covering today is WhatsApp because this is the most commonly used medium today. And I distinctly remember, I started using WhatsApp in the year 2011. And this is 2020. And in 9 years, it has become part of our lives. I mean, we can't think of communicating unless we have WhatsApp. Now we all know that for last few years, WhatsApp has taken a turn where every government in the world is facing this problem of fake news. You'll very frequently see these news items appearing in media and newspapers that every government is now struggling, how to control fake news. So the very fact that WhatsApp has end-to-end encryption, the message when it goes from your system to the system of the recipient, nobody can, encrypt, nobody can see the message in between. Makes it very difficult for governments and other authorities to actually, control this menace. Now, when we talk of fake messages, there are two terms used for this. One is misinformation and the other is disinformation. So misinformation is something which is false, but which is not created with the intention of causing any harm. And in most cases, the person who's sending it, he is not even aware that it is false. So most of the messages that we see fall into this category, but there is another more serious kind of fake news, which is disinformation. This is something which is intentionally and deliberately created to harm a person or a social group or a religion or a country or an organization. So recently you would have seen, after the outbreak of coronavirus, there's been number of fake news, both misinformation and disinformation floating around WhatsApp. I'll show you a few examples. So this is one disinformation example. There was this message which says that Ministry of Tourism has now banned all restaurants, hotels, and resorts to remain closed till October 15 due to coronavirus outbreak. And if you see the image, it has got the emblem of Ministry of Tourism. It has got 4 signatures. Now, later on, it was proved that this was fake. But this is an information which creates, a lot of stress in the segment, a lot of havoc in this industry. So this is one example of disinformation. Now, this is another example. Now, it says that AC should not be used to cool off in the heat as they spread COVID-19. The intention is good, the person who's sending it or the person who's forwarding it has no intention to harm anyone. But this was partially true. So while the government advisory on this was that central air conditioning units are not to be used, and any AC that we use in the home, whether it's Windows AC or any other AC can be used. So this is one example of misinformation. This is very funny example I'm giving you. This is a TV news coverage on possibly Kannada TV. And what it was trying to explain was an economic concept called helicopter money. So one economist has done a research on this topic, and he has coined it as a helicopter money. And this TV news reporter took it to a certain different level, and they showed graphics where there's a helicopter which is actually throwing currency notes, and it said that the Modi government is planning this kind of distribution of money. So while the intention may be correct, the interpretation was totally wrong, and it resulted into a lot of misinformation on WhatsApp. This is very recent. I'm sure all of you would have received one or two messages which are supposed to be opinion of Mr. Ratan Tata. So it's very common, if I want to say something, if Vijay wants to say something or Dinesh Tejwani wants to say something, maybe very few people will listen to that. The moment I put photograph of Mr. Ratan Tata, it will go viral, right? So this is what miscreants do, So while again, if you read this news, the intention is good, what it is saying is not bad, But the fact is, Mr. Ratan Tata never said that. So these are a few examples of how misinformation and disinformation is spreading across WhatsApp. Now, I'll just stop here and talk about why do we forward a message. So generally, when there is a webinar, I throw a quick poll, But Vijay, I think this is a web meeting, right? It doesn't have an option of poll. So I'll have to skip that, And what I'll do is I'll straight away jump to this survey. This was a very widespread survey conducted by Statista, and it covered almost whole of India. And this is the result. I think 48% people forward a WhatsApp message because they think that it will benefit others. And a corollary to that is 13% which think that it might benefit others to be safe. So today, because of coronavirus outbreak, I think all of us are concerned that people in my community should be safe. So the moment we see a message,
Dinesh, we can have a poll here also.
We can have a poll?
Yeah, we can have a poll, no problem.
Okay, but I think I skipped that. I was not even, so maybe,
No,
we'll have to skip that now. Yeah, I should have asked you earlier. I'm sorry about that. No. But I think these are the most common reasons, We think it's important, like if I talk of our community, anything which is related to tax or return filing or refund or date extension, we feel, hey, this is important. People in my network must know about it. And we immediately forward it. We don't check whether it is true or not. So these are the two most common reasons. The third reason, this survey showed that the mainstream media, our TV and newspapers do not cover this news. So this is something which has come from other sources, and this is something which others must know. So I should forward it. So these are the main three reasons why we forward a message. And the sad fact is that we have come to believe whatever comes on WhatsApp is true, and we don't check, and we just forward. Now, my presentation is covered into two parts. One is I'll just tell you 4 ways you can spot a fake message. Very simple, but it makes efforts. I mean, it's not easy. It will take some efforts for you to identify whether a message is fake or not. The next part is I'll give you 4 takeaways. If you don't want to spend a lot of time on identify fake messages, I'll give you 4 simple tricks, what you can start adopting right now. The moment this webinar is over, you can start adopting them. So let's go one by one. The very first thing is when a message comes to you, there is a forwarded icon, correct? But have you noticed that there is a separate icon which is a double arrow? And what it means is that this is frequently forwarded message. Okay, so please start noticing it when you are getting a message. If it is forwarded, means it has been forwarded only 5 times. Any message which has been forwarded by more than 5 times becomes a frequently forwarded. And according to WhatsApp website, they have mentioned that a fake news often goes viral. So there are more chances of a message being fake if it is frequently forwarded. So that is the first thing you should look for. If it is double arrow in gray color, just stop. Don't forward it. Second thing, you just Google it. When you get a message, so I just typed, WhatsApp message related to Corona is punishable. I Googled it. And Google has also now tweaked its search engine. And what it is doing is it is first showing the fake alert. So I was lucky and I got this first search result, which says that this is a fact check by Times of India and this is a fake news. Now, WhatsApp is also working on this as a new feature. So whenever in future releases, you will see that whenever there is a frequently forwarded sign to a message, there will be an icon, and that icon will directly take you to Google. So you don't have to even make that extra effort of typing and searching. So this feature should be coming very soon. So this is a second method. You can just Google it. If you're lucky, you will get a result which says whether it is fake or not. There's a third method, which is very relevant for our community. So whenever there is any news which pertains to a government department or an authority, you can straight away look up the official website or Twitter handle. I'll give you one example. For coronavirus, Government of India has created this website, mygov.in/COVID-19. It is very comprehensive, each and every kind of information pertaining to COVID-19 seen in India. All the guidelines, all the statistics, correct, right up to the district level. So what can be a better source than the official government website? So should we rely on a WhatsApp message which has come saying that, in Bombay, there's a curfew or whatever, or rather, go to this website and check. So this is one example. Similarly, when we talk about our profession, we can always go to the income tax website or GSTN to check any news which we think may or may not be true. But what I've noticed is that a website is little late to come up with updates. And today is an age where information spreads by the minute. So we don't wait. We don't wait for the notification or the circular to appear on the website. So what even government departments have done is they have created a Twitter handle. And we all know, with the launch of the GST, Twitter became very famous mode of disseminating the information. And now also when the GST Council meets, at the end of the meeting, I think within 15 minutes, they post the decisions taken in that meeting on Twitter. So to me, Twitter is a very fast and authentic way to check for any information related to government authorities. Now I'll just again warn you here that even Twitter is a social platform where each and every person can go and create an account, which is called Twitter handle. Here you should look for this blue icon. This is called blue verified badge. So Twitter has a way of verifying a certain account if it is supposed to be from a government authority. This process takes some time, but it is there. So always look for this icon when you are searching for any information on Twitter. These are few examples. So when I look at the Ministry of Health or Mumbai Police or BMC, you will always see that there's a blue tick next to that. So which means I'm looking at the official verified handle of an authority or a government department or a local authority. Let us see one example of how a fake handle looks like. Now, both these Twitter handles say they are from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. And you see both of them have the logo also. But one has a blue tick, the other does not have a blue tick. So now you know, it's very easy what is genuine and what is not genuine. I won't say fake, but then it's not genuine. So this was the third method, you know, go to the website or go to the Twitter handle. I would advise you all, if you're not on Twitter, you should please be on Twitter, and you should subscribe to the Ministry of Finance, the Income Tax Department, CBEC, you know, those are very, or GSTN, GST Council. So these are some of the Twitter handles which are handy for our profession. Fourth and the last method to check whether a message is fake or not is fact checking websites. Now I'll just stop here and talk about this organization. It is called IFCN, International Fact Checking Network. This is a non-profit organization created by Pointer, which is a media company, rather media organization in USA. Now, they started this in 2015. They understood that fake news is here to stay. It's going to spread. So what they have done is they have created a non-profit organization which is looking at the community of fact checkers. And they have created best practices. They have created code of conduct for these organizations to follow. And any organization which is following these standards is accredited, right? Now, these are few organizations in India which are accredited to IFCN. Alt News is a new startup which is doing a very good work in this field. India Today, we all know. Boom is another one. Webkoof is the fact-checking arm of Bloomberg. So if you go to the IFCN wiki page, you will see a full list of all the fact-checking organizations. There are about 12 or 13, not many. And what these organizations do are, they use normal journalism and technology to verify whether news going viral is fake or not. So I was lucky enough to talk to founder of one of these fact-checking organizations, and he mentioned it to me that they rely more on technology nowadays than the typical journalism method of verifying. So if any event is happening, let us say in Thane, you know, what a media company would do is send its correspondent to Thane district magistrate's office, or if it is a criminal case, it will send to the police headquarters, right? So those are the original methods. But today what they do is they use a lot of technology. So they have some 60 tools, you know, the company which I spoke to, they said they have 60 tools to verify whether a particular message is fake or not. So when I share this presentation with you, it has got all the hyperlinks. You can actually go and check these websites and see how they are working. But this is a very laborious task. It is not easy to quickly verify whether fact is true or false. It takes efforts. So their capacity is not more than 3 to 4. So what they do is they look for, you know, what is, and then even you can even send them a message and ask them whether it is false or not. They won't come back immediately. They won't come back to you. But what they do is they aggregate, okay, that so many people are saying that this message seems to be fake. They take it up for scrutiny and they publish their result on their website. So this is the fourth method. Very important to note here is in March, government has launched this PIB fact check Twitter handle and website. PIB is Press Information Bureau. So they have created a new arm specifically to check the fake news. So anything pertaining to government policy, government document, they are very fast, they are very active. and possibly you'll see they are the first to come up with a denial or acceptance of a news. So this is my advice to you. Also subscribe to the handle PIB Fact Check, or you can go to their website also. I'll show you few examples of how I verified. Okay, I've got 10 minutes now, so I'll just rush through this. There was a message, a voice message, and it was supposed to be from the Police Commissioner of Mumbai. And it mentioned a lot of do's and do nots, what a citizen of a Mumbai society is supposed to do. The way it was said, looked to me that it is not by the police commissioner. So what I did, I straight away, I went to the Twitter handle of Mumbai Police and I found this. So they mentioned that this is a voice message which is not by our police commissioner and it is fake. So this was very simple, going to the official Twitter handle of the department. Another one which became very viral and it mentioned so many sections, and it said that no post related to coronavirus can be posted on WhatsApp and the group admin will be personally responsible. And this made, I think, almost 90% of the group admins convert their WhatsApp group to admin only, where nobody else can post. This post generally will accompany a link, a web link by livelaw.in, which mentions some Supreme Court decisions. I'll not go into detail, but what I found was Webcoof has done a very detailed study of this post, and they have given some 4-page report. I'll strongly advise all of you to just read this report, because we are from legal community. When even there is a tribunal decision, we go at length to understand it. We conduct various seminars to understand various laws. But here is one particular petition in Supreme Court, which possibly most of us did not take care to read and understand, and we started forwarding it. So please go to this particular fact-checking report. I'll skip the details here and I'll leave it on you to read it. Extensions, I think this is something which all of us are, during this time, our WhatsApp groups are full of extension happening, not happening, extension happening, not happening. And then suddenly there will be a screenshot. There will be a screenshot by CBIC. This is one example, and it says the date has been extended. And presto, you go to the Twitter handle of CBIC, and it very clearly says that there is no such extension. So in our case, in our tax and accounting community, I find Twitter is very good way to verify news relating to domains like income tax and GST and MCA. I'll give you one more example here. This seems to be spreading across since last 3-4 days. And this is a phishing attack, So it is even giving a link saying that the GST refunds are being processed and you can claim it here. Very fake and very dangerous, But PIB Fact Check has clearly, put it on their website. I come to the last part of my presentation, and you might think that these 4 ways I have mentioned to you are laborious, they take time, and I'll agree to that. In between, I got one message from one of our members, Sagar, and it mentioned that Maharashtra Police is asking for migrant laborers to upload their details if they want to travel to their hometown. And the website was covid19.mahapolice.in. And I really went into the details. So to me, it was fake, because any government website will have to end with gov.in, which it was not. And secondly, this particular website was owned by a private limited company. So I concluded this is fake and I did not forward it, but I did not find any fake news buster, putting this news. So maybe it is not that viral. That is my conclusion. These are 4 simple things which you can do right now without any effort. First one, Mat Kar Forward. This is a hashtag which the celebrities have just started. If you go to YouTube and search Mat Kar Forward, you will see a very nice video by Virat Kohli and Ayushmann Khurrana. And they are saying that fake message is more dangerous than COVID-19. So this is first suggestion, help prevent spread of rumors. If you are getting a forwarded message, don't jump to just forward it, stop it. Or make some efforts, verify it. If it is really true, then you forward it. So that is my first suggestion to you, Mat Kar Forward. Second, when you see an image, don't believe it. It's very easy today, even for a kid, to morph an image, to edit an image. Now, when you see an image and it says this is by WHO, and WHO is asking you not to use or eat bakery items, the first thing is for you is to disbelieve it. Any image can be fake, right? Similarly, a video while creating a fake video looks like difficult, but it can be posted in a wrong context. So you will see a video pertaining to a different country being posted as video from India, or a video which is 3 years ago being posted as video of yesterday, something like that. So a video which is directly appearing on your WhatsApp, or an image which is appearing on your WhatsApp, my advice to you is don't believe it. Do not forward it. Corollary to that is my third recommendation, that in case you come across a good message which is worth forwarding, you forward the link. So if I've come across any Twitter link, any tweet, and which is very useful, I have two options. Either take a screenshot and post it on WhatsApp, which is although very easy because it straight away is giving you the outcome. But I will avoid that. I'll straight away post the Twitter link or the website link. Now it is up to the recipient to verify, believe it or not. So if it is from Times of India or India Today, no, I have option of believing it or not. Correct. But if it is an image, I have no way to verify whether it is fake or not. So Google has a Google reverse search mechanism, where if you upload an image, it'll do the reverse checking and it will show you, where this original image appeared. So this is one simple way of verifying, but again, takes effort. For those who are interested in technology, can search for Google reverse search and they can try it out. That is my third recommendation. My fourth recommendation to you is anybody who's sending you a fake message and you come to know that it is fake, you flag it back to him. You at least inform him that the message you have sent is fake and do not send such messages and do not forward it any further. So these are four things you can do right away. I just took one webinar by Dr. Chinmay Bhosle. He is a criminal lawyer from Pune. And this was a specific webinar which talked about the social media messages and specifically WhatsApp messages in the current scenario. In the current scenario, what I'm using is because at this moment, we have two acts applicable. One is the Epidemic Act and the other is the Disaster Management Act. The Information Technology Act is in any case applicable. And then a lot of district magistrates are now invoking various sections of IPC and CRPC. It was a wonderful webinar. I would advise our conveners to consider, having a separate webinar on legal aspects of the criminal liability as far as fake messages is concerned. I also talked to a few police personnel and they mentioned that they have tools. Today, police department cyber cell is equipped with the tools to do the forensic on the mobile phone and establish whether this message originated from that phone or not. If you notice, there was an event in Mumbai, Bandra, an unlawful assembly of people. Now, in that case, police could actually establish the 10 people who initiated it, and now they are behind bars. So this is something which I strongly advocate the conveners to have a separate webinar meetings on this topic. Quick recap: 4 tips to verify: look for frequently forwarded sign and stop. Second is Google it. Third is go to fact checking website, specifically PIB fact check. Fourth is go to the fact checking websites. Third was go to official sources, the official website or Twitter handle. And the fourth was fact checking websites. These are 4 ways you can verify. And these are immediate takeaways. Mat kar forward, that is 1. 2, do not rely on image or video. 3, send a link rather than image. And 4th is, if fake, flag it back to the sender. Thank you so much. I have completed my presentation. I think I can take up Q&A at the end of the session.
Thank you, Dinesh ji. We'll take the question answers, I think so, in the end, so people can have, after Vijay speaks, we'll have all the questions together.
Sure.
So if you're okay with it, we'll take it in the end, Dinesh.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm in. I'm here for the Vijay's session also. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Dinesh. Over to our next speaker, our very own CA Vijay Kevalramani. He is going to speak on basic prevention on use of social media and internet to reduce cybercrime. There will be very few people who would not know Vijay, but then too, as a formality, I would like to have an introduction of Vijay, a formal introduction. He is a chartered accountant in practice for more than 25 years now. He is a BCom, LLB, LLM, FCA, MBA, CMA Australia, Diploma in IFR UK. He has obtained certification in forensic accounting. He practices in the field of direct taxes, appellate fraud, investigation, apart from the routine practice of his chartered accountancy. He has been training government auditors through Indian Audit and Account Board on topics of risk management and fraud detection. He has been invited to train auditors from Afghanistan for fraud detection. He speaks on various topics on multiple forums. He has authored a book by AFTP on limited liability partnership simplified through FAQs. A very, very well written book for people who are new to LLP or who would like to understand more insight on LLP. This is the book you should be having in your library. He's always traveling, socializing, and reading. He's involved in various professional associations. He is an immediate past president of Tax Friends, Bombay. He is a president of Tax Practice Association, Thane. He is a national executive committee member of AIFTP, a steering committee member of ICM Australia, and president of American Institute of Sindhology, India chapter. So here I present to you Vijay on his topic for basic prevention for use of social media and internet. Over to you, Vijay.
Thank you, Bharat, for the brief introduction. Good afternoon, friends. And thank you, Dinesh, for giving a very detailed introspection into how to spot fake messages and forwarded messages. Dinesh, I have some contradictions which I will take it up at the point. Friends, today we are here to understand. Now, first we have heard from Dinesh what is fake messages and how to avoid the fake messages. Now, the main thing that we are facing day in and day out is social media problems, that we are seeing that social media is creating problems, cyber crime is happening on using internet. So we need some basic preventions and basic safeguards. So this is some small session which I have created just to make people aware on what preventions do we need. If we take these preventions, definitely the risk will be lower. I will not say we can mitigate 100% of the risk, as it is never possible in today's world, in this open global world. But yes, the risk will be lower. So friends, before starting, let's go to this. When we speak about cyber crime, we need to understand the background why we need to do. So what happens in mind is we think about, koi mera paisa to nahi leke ja raha hai. As we can see something coming from the computer and taking away, so my money is being stolen. Or now a new concept is coming, that killing through the computer, that is cyber terrorism. That is a new concept that is coming. So this normally comes in mind. We'll look into certain aspects of cyber crime also. So before going into what is cyber crime, we need to understand what is crime. Friends, I am not a technical person, but crime basically is an act which is done with an intent to hurt somebody. If you don't intend to hurt somebody and you have done something which is wrongly done, you can always say that ठीक है ये गलती से हो गया, it is not my fault. So, but if you had the intent to hurt somebody, then you cannot take that stand. So if you have done an act with an intent to hurt somebody, you would definitely fall within the parameters of crime. I'll give you a small example. If while moving on the road, you are say taking a jog in the morning, and you tend to hit somebody who's coming from across, and you hit him, and that person falls. Maybe he breaks his head also with a stone. But because your intent was not to hit him or hurt him, you may not fall within the definition of crime because your intent was not there. But if you slap somebody with an intent to hurt him, that would come in the definition of crime. So with this going forward, you would learn what is the definition of cyber crime. Cyber crime basically can be defined as offenses that are committed against individuals or groups with a criminal motive to intentionally harm the reputation of the victim or cause physical or mental harm to the victim directly using modern technologies, networks such as internet networks, including but not limited to chat rooms, emails, notice boards, or mobile, including mobile phones. So who are the victims basically? We need to understand that. First is the individual. As an individual, I am definitely a victim of all this because I am hurt with the view and the action. And then corporate organizations, they are definitely victims. You see actions being taken, data being stolen and all that, hacking and all that. We'll go into detailed aspects of what happens into everything. And then definitely nowadays, even nations are victims of this cyber crime. The way we see this cyber terrorism and all that going on. So nations or a group of nations, we can say they are victims. We'll look into some brief into all these aspects. So what are the basic types through which cyber crime happens? It's either through hacking, through social media, through financial theft, through copyright infringement, through piracy. Friends, these are things I will be highlighting everything in detail, and these are very important for you to take note and take basic precautions so that you at least try to safeguard yourself. So what is hacking, friends? Hacking basically is intrusion into somebody else's domain. So what can be hacked? Basically emails. Now there are two different types of hacking. One can be ethical hacking, one can be unethical hacking. Unethical hacking is just somebody barges into your email, reads it. But many a time what happens is, practically, if you will be aware that practically all our emails, if we use a public email platform like Yahoo or Google, practically all our emails are being read. I will give you a small example. Supposing I send an email to say, Dinesh, tomorrow I will be traveling to Paris through this flight. Within a few seconds, what you would note, friends, is you get pop-up windows saying hotels in Paris, restaurants in Paris, cruise destinations in Paris. So technically your emails are being read, and based on that, because ultimately nothing comes for free. So these companies also, they need ad revenue. So based on your emails, they would generate ad revenues by giving you pop-up ads. But what hurts is the cyber crime is there when it is an unethical hacking, that somebody barges into your email and he starts to read your email. The other type of hacking is either through computers or networks, when somebody hacks and enters into somebody else's computer. Like recently we had that your computers were being blocked, and then there was a demand of the cryptocurrencies, bitcoins and all that. If you don't give us, we'll block your computer, we'll not unlock your computer. So this is where they enter a third-party domain or a third-party computer, and then they try to capture your data or blackmail you. So this is a bigger form of cyber crime that is happening. The other is, friends, social media. How now you would say, how would the social media be hacked? Social media can be hacked through hacking your social media data. okay, you show me, means your profile is being hacked, your data is being hacked, everything will look into when we go into the social media. Many a times you see the photos are being copied, the data is being hacked. Your many a times, like Dinesh was referring to Twitter, it so happens that you have a Facebook account or a Twitter account, somebody else hacks your Twitter account and starts posting messages on your behalf. So it just happens that you are posting, actually you are not posting, somebody else is posting those fake messages or some bad messages, which technically you are not posting, but somebody else is. So now we friends, we come to the basic crux, that is the social media that we are discussing. This is the best that we have been using. WhatsApp. These are different types of social media. WhatsApp is there, Facebook is there, Twitter is there, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Telegram, the most used social media platforms, wherein we chat, we give details about us, we get messages, and definitely these are good platforms. One should use it, but we need to use some safeguards. What has happened is today, since morning, the moment we get up, we put it on Facebook. Now I got up. Now I am brushing my teeth. So please, what is the need to give every information to everybody? Now we'll look into detail into all this. What happens? What are the threats of using social media? The first is you get up fake messages or troll messages. That is what Dinesh was discussing, that you get fake messages and unknowingly you happen to forward it without looking into the factual content and all that. So what you have to do is, once you get this, you need to exercise caution, have some caution, and then avoid the social risk that you are having, because once you are on social media, you literally open every aspect to that. So you have a social risk in it. Threats and how do we prevent it? Now we come to the main topic. The basic threat is impersonation or mocking. What happens, friends, is you have a Facebook account where you just post in your photographs. So what happens is somebody picks up some of your photographs, it creates a new account, putting your photograph, putting somebody else's name and data, and then linking it with somebody else and trying to cheat that person. It has so happened, I will just give you one small case, that in one of the situations, there was a murder case where a boy was found murdered in a location, and when the police went in searching, they found out that he was in chat with a lady on Facebook, and the last chat was that you please come and meet me here. When he went there, unfortunately he could not come back and he was murdered. So when detailed inquiry was being conducted by the police on that Facebook account, they found out that there was a photograph of a lady. When they searched the photograph, it was seen that this case was somewhere in UP, and that photograph belonged to a lady who was based in Tamil Nadu. So what happened? That person had took the photograph of that lady, somebody else's photograph, put in some extra media, and he traced it. Actually, the case was, it was a love triangle. This boy was actually in love with a girl, and there was a third person who came in between and who was not happy with this situation. So what he did was, he created a fake account, copying the photograph from somebody, and then he made friends with this guy. After moving on, after some time when they got used to it, he called him and he murdered him. So this is one big risk that we face. So please try to avoid putting more and more photographs over there. And what we do actually is we put in everything, and then based on that your profile hacking happens. Identity thefts also on the similar lines. But one more thing that I would like to highlight in using this thing, especially I would like to keep alert on using the Facebook Live that we use. Facebook Live, friends, what we are used to is that it's a good thing that you share it with your friends. But what happens is, once you start to share it with your friends, you tend to share every detail with your friends. So, and moreover, it is not only with your friends but to the public. So what happens is, when you share a Facebook Live of a marriage or maybe an engagement ceremony, you are literally showing the world that yes, see, there is so much of jewelry over here, what is going on, what type of people are there. So what are you doing? You are giving invitation to nobody else but crooks. Many a times what happens is, we put in data going with whole family to Australia for a visit. What is happening? You are giving an invitation to the crooks that yes, one family is out and I have a good chance to go and loot that house. This is what is happening. And moreover, friends, just one more matter of caution. We also have some friends which normally we would not like, our friendly neighborhood tax guy, who also happens to visit your Facebook. And once you put in, I have been to Australia with a family, and when you file your return of income and you don't show that, he would definitely, at that time, he would give you a thumbs up. But later on, he would send you a notice that please, you went to Australia with your family, you would have incurred some expenses. Kindly let me know where did you earn the money from. So please avoid these type of personal messages on Facebook. And if at all you are doing, what happens, I'll tell you, friends, we are all smart enough. What we do, I am sending my pictures, Mr. Vijay, to a group of people, and only a select group of people can see the pictures. But the problem, what happens is, if some of them who puts you a thumb sign of the like, and his profile is open for everybody to view, your picture is mutated. So everybody else in his group can see. Then the issue of fake messaging, I think Ganesh has taken it very much in detail, so I would not go. The only thing is, please be aware before forwarding, and don't go into rumor mongering. Yes, be alert, especially when forwarding messages. Be sensitive when you are forwarding messages relating to communities and all that. Friends, we may be having some form or the other emotions, but please be safe. Don't forward messages which will hurt somebody. And definitely these can also lead to legal issues also. So whenever you are receiving a message, please don't forward. And many a times, as Dinesh has said, when we always started using WhatsApp or this thing, first time what we do is, अरे आया होगा ये जनरल हेल्प के लिए होगा, we just forward it. I'll give you one small example. Initially there used to be a message saying that please don't drink maza, because maza, it was found that a cock with blood-stained cock was found inside, which blood was AIDS. That blood had AIDS in it. So please don't drink, otherwise you will get infected with AIDS. Now I think everybody being educated, we know that AIDS doesn't get transmitted through these things. The other part of the message was NDTV is relaying. Now please check, take care to ensure whether NDTV is actually relaying. As Dinesh has said, please go to that website, verify whether NDTV has actually relayed that. If it is not, please don't forward it. These are the type of messages going on. I would not go into the current situation. Current situation, definitely we have to be alert, because in the current situation, more than fake messaging, what happens is the rumor monger. Arey, this is open now. दारू की दुकान खुल गई, चलो लाइन में लग जाओ. Now this area is open, so everybody starts running. You please confirm from your sources before forwarding. This is very important in today's time. The other part, friends, is financial thefts. How do financial thefts happen? Net banking. So what we need to do is, while using net banking, you have to ensure that your passwords are good. Try and change the passwords frequently. If not every week, at least every 15 days. Try and change the passwords. Keep the password stuff. At the end of this session, I will show you how passwords have to be, how should passwords be defined. At the end of this session, we'll look into how the passwords are defined. Change your passwords. Don't give passwords to third parties. And moreover, we have a habit of bookmarking a web page for shortcuts. Please don't do it for net banking. Whenever you are typing www.icicibank.com, please type it again. It doesn't take more than 2 seconds. But what we do is we bookmark a page, or many times the history shows itself www.icicibank, and we click it. What happens, friends, is many a times, because of this hacking and phishing incidents, the bankers, they keep changing the final page source of the bank. So many a times you end up landing in a fake site because of using an old this thing. So if possible, please just mention www.hdfcbank.com. It doesn't take you more than 2 seconds. Instead of copying an old link and doing it, you may end up landing in a different place and in a problem. Then many a times it happens with the credit cards. Now definitely with the PIN and the passwords coming in and the chip cards coming in, the risk has definitely reduced. But yes, credit cards also are a risk. What happens, friends, is when we use credit cards, हमसे इतना नहीं होता है कि you go to a restaurant. Nowadays we are all at home. But if you go to a restaurant and you give a card to the fellow, he will tell you, sir, हमारे पास तो वाईफाई नहीं है, you please give me the pin, and we are so innocent we give the pin. Please get up from your seat, go to the counter and ensure that you put in the pin, don't give the pin to anyone. And many a times what happens is you would notice that once they would try to swipe in single machine, sir, swipe nahi ho raha hai, I will try another machine. So there you should be alert. It can always be a chance that that machine that they are trying, they have captured your data on that machine. And in the second machine is the actual machine where they are using it. In the first machine, they already captured your data, and based on that, they create duplicate cards. So when once this happens, you please alert, or if possible, change your PIN and take safeguards. The third and last part of financial theft is fraudulent emails. We have been receiving, I think everybody must have become a billionaire once or twice. We must have had some relative way back in US or maybe in Ghana who has left some properties for us. So please be aware about these mails. These are all fraudulent now, although they have reduced. Many a times you get an email that RBI has given you a refund, income tax has given you a refund. Income tax will not give you a refund from some site. Please check the from where it is coming. In every such mail, please check the from in link where it is coming, so you will automatically make out whether it is a genuine email or not. If it is, you find that there is a doubt, please go to the website and check it out. As Dinesh has said. Now, friends, we come to the most important part. This we normally happen to do day in and day out. This is the copyright infringement. What happens is, friends, we are used to this Google and all that. So tomorrow, if I have to make a project in a school, also, if a child has to make a project, beta Google mein jao. So what he does is he will open the Google, take out the data, copy it, no problem, no harm in that. But what happens, friends, is there are two types of data available. One is a free source data, free usable, and one is a limited source. So many times you should check the website when you are using the data. If the website says that you can use it for free for non-commercial purposes, please do use it. But if the website says that you please obtain the permission if you want to use it, so your duty to please write it to that author, obtain his permission that I want to print it for non-commercial or commercial, and fulfill his terms. And even if it is for non-commercial and it is written that you can use it for free, it is always advisable that you mention the source below that data when you are copying, that it is copied from so-and-so website. It is our duty to give them the credit that we have copied from this. So this we normally don't do. Please take care that you at least take this issue. The other type of copyright infringement happens in softwares or programs where we use pirated softwares. So please avoid pirated softwares or programs. Nowadays, Office 365 is coming at a bare minimum price. It is very cheap. You better use these applications instead of going in for pirated applications. Even softwares and programs, friends, because it may land you in problems. So please, अरे मेरे दोस्त के पास पड़ा है, मैं use कर रहा हूँ. Whether you have checked कि वो freely transferable है कि नहीं. अगर आपको यूज करना ही है, if you don't want to use it, please use free source documents. The free source softwares are available on the net. I'll give you one example. Now, if you use WinZip, WinZip is giving you a limited period offer that you can use for a certain period. If you don't, then you have to pay some license fee per month. So what we are smart enough, what we do, we'll uninstall WinZip and keep installing WinZip again and again. Avoid that, friends. There are many free source documents available. Go to 7zip. 7zip is a free source document. You can use it. It's just like WinZip. If you don't want to pay for Office 365, OpenOffice.org is an open source application. Please go search the net, look for open source applications and use them. This will help you. Now, friends, we come to the last part, that is piracy. First thing is, as I told you, software programs, applications. Please avoid pirated applications, software, and try to pay. They are also making software. They are incurring enough cost to do it, so they also need some revenue. Why should we keep somebody? Friends, the most important part is this movies. What happens is, today we see everybody, when you are traveling, now we are not traveling definitely, but when you are traveling by, say, train or car or bus, you see people just opening on the mobile picture. Right? Say Manikarna is being released tomorrow. I have a picture today and I am viewing it in open view in the train. Why? Because that concept called share it is there, which gives me a transfer. This is, I'm just giving one example. Share it torrent they give you, so you please transfer. Friends, be aware, and in fact educate your kids also. Please don't do it. The moment if somebody catches you, you may land in jail, because piracy of movies is a big crime. Those people are, and nowadays strict checking is going on. We should ensure that we do not, first thing is use pirated movies. It doesn't cost you much to go to a theater, or if you can't go, please wait for some months. The movie will be coming on the TV. But don't use these, and especially when you are using on road, you are clearly violating the law. Please be precautious. Don't do all these things. Now we come to the password part, which I told you. So normally what happens is, if I have to create a password, so say there is one guy called as Mugambo, and he was born in 1940. So what he says, I will create a password Mugambo 1940. Friends, no harm in keeping this password. What normally happens is, we need to keep a password. We will take it from a friend's name and all that. I will give you a better idea. You can use the name of your childhood friend in school, who will nobody will remember also. You can try that. But then you can have your name also, as I'm giving you an example, Mugambo 1940, just with a small twist. What the rules are: one capital letter, one small letter. So what is necessary is, what we are used to is, first letter is capital. Why should we need first letter capital? Why can't I make G as a capital? And then O, Mugambo, O can be converted to 0. A can be shown as @ So it gives you a special character. For special character, why do I need to put it at the end or in between? A can be converted to A. So you only know your name Mugambo 1940, but where you are changing it. Like see here, B I have done it. O capital, BO I have put in capital. 1 I have converted to exclamation. 0 I have converted to star sign. There are similar which are easy, but then you are the only person who knows which character you have changed, which is capital, which is small, which is an alphabet, which is not. You know, but it is easier to remember. The ultimate crux is Mugambo 1940. Similarly, we go to another famous character, Shakal. Shakal 1960. So it can be done. S can be done as a dollar mark. A in between can be a capital, and then exclamation. O can be a dot. Similarly, A in between and ampersand can be put. One can be a full colon. So you can change. These are the type of passwords you should have. And it's very simple, friends. You need not keep Shakal 1960 and let the public. You can just make these minor amendments. It is very difficult to hack these type of passwords. So please be alert. Change. This is the main safeguard. Now we come to the safeguards that we need to know, friends. This is just a review of what we have discussed earlier, just the safeguards. Please maintain proper passwords. As I showed you, you can twist your passwords. Ensure that you change your passwords frequently, if not weekly, if not bi-weekly, at least monthly. Last is monthly. It should not go beyond that. Ensure that you change your passwords timely. Friends, this is one thing that happens while we use internet. This is the entry point of internet, the Wi-Fi router. What happens is, when we have a Wi-Fi router, who does the setting? The IT guy comes, the computer guy comes, he will do the setting and he will go away. फिर वो आपसे पूछेगा, सर आपको अपना पासवर्ड क्या रखना है, आप दे दोगे? Are you aware that you have given him the password so he can give that password to n number of people? There was a case, friends, I will tell you. This is definitely when it was all new, somewhere in 2005. Some guys, they came in a car, they stood in a building in Navi Mumbai, below a building. They searched for an open Wi-Fi router, and they sent a threat mail to the government that there is a bomb somewhere. So that poor guy was harassed, whose password router was being used. Ultimately, definitely the police can make out, and those guys were caught. That's a different issue. But this is what happened. So please lock in this thing. You tell him, you please tell me how to do the settings. I will change the password. Don't ask him to change the password. Point number 1, the basic point, friends. This password that you are using, if a friend is coming to you, "Arey yaar, Vijay, tera password de de." Tell him, please, my dear friend, you please give it to me. I will put in the password. And when you put in, just remove the tick from the auto reconnect. There is no harm. Don't feel shy to say no, कि मैं तुमको नहीं बताऊंगा, तुम मेरे को दो, मैं डाल के देता हूं. And just remove the tick from auto reconnect. So next time when he comes, he is not able to reconnect it over there. Point number 2, when you are doing a router setting, if you open a router 192.168.0.1 or 1.0, it asks you a common password. Admin is the user ID. Normally, the password is admin password or 123456. The basic thing is you should change that password also. Because the point is, if some of your friends or somebody joins your Wi-Fi, he can easily see through your Wi-Fi settings and amend it. So please, the first thing you should do is you should change the entries password, and then you change the Wi-Fi routing password. These two things are very important, friends, and this will save you a lot of risk from cybercrime and hacking. And the third safeguard is privacy. Please maintain your privacy. Don't give out information. We are used. अभी मैं उठ गया हूँ, अभी मैं ब्रश कर रहा हूँ, अभी सो रहा हूँ, अभी दोस्तों के साथ घूमने जा रहा हूँ, अभी फोटो. Main thing is your location. Everybody I have seen, most of the people they just keep the location on. Why do you need to keep the location on? Today so and so is at airport going to Dubai. Why do you need to tell the world that I am going there? You tell it to your friends close one by phone. Why do you need to tell it to the world? Your WhatsApp will show the location. He is sitting over here. Why do you want? Please block the locations in your Facebook and WhatsApp if they are there. Why do you need to tell them? That is the biggest thing. Where are you? Why are you? Why do you want the world to know where are you? Only selected people should know. Please tell them. That's all. Don't put in private information. Your profile should be password blocked. Nobody should be able to view the profile, including your friends. Because you never know from where the information goes out. Please be there. Next point is, as I told you, restrict information flow. Put in minimal information. Why do you want to put I am so and so, I am doing this, I am with my family includes all that. Please restrict your information. The less information, it will help you out. Avoid unknown requests. Now what happens is, we get a competition. अरे यार Facebook में मेरे पास 4000 मेंबर है, मेरे पास 5000 मेंबर है, क्या दौड़ लगा के रखिए. Please avoid. Until you know a person, please don't add him as a friend. You never know who the other guy is, what he will be doing, what he will be using. I think you must have all heard about computer analytics. The way that data was being taken up for use of political purposes. You should avoid unknown requests. You never know who is entering your data. Avoid personal information. Thank you, friends. And I would like to acknowledge this is one type of copyright avoiding that you should thank either at the source or at the end. You should thank all these people. And I thank everybody of you for giving me a patient hearing. Bharat, over to you.
Thank you, Vijay. And thank you, Dinesh. We'll take the questions now. We got quite a few questions here right now. Okay, one question, Vijay. The first one from Surendra Sanghvi. Preparing password you advised, but how do you remember? Keep note of the same of so many sites?
सर इसका भी एक सिंपल सा कोड है. हर एक के मोबाइल में, in every mobile, you get a notepad or a memo feature. You put in all the passwords over there, and there is only one password you put into that file that you have to remember. That's all.
Okay, one interesting question by Piyush Gada. Is forwarding newspaper illegal? Dinesh, can you put a light on that? Because this is one thing which has been doing a lot of ground. Can you unmute yourself, Dinesh?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I think this is something which has been doing round for the last 2-3 days. And it's very evident, even, some of the newspapers, they have clarified that it's not an offense. You can do it. I'll tell you, I get a message every day from one mutual fund every day morning, and which has got linked to all the e-newspapers. So yeah, you can just Google, you'll find out this is not true.
Yeah, there was a report, Dinesh, on Live Mint.
Okay.
That this is illegal, and forwarding to groups is illegal. Okay. Individual forwarding is allowed, but from groups it's illegal. So we don't know the authenticity of the message. So hence the question, I presume.
Right. So here is, the Nippon Life India Assurance is, I'm getting a mail every day morning, and it says click here for newspapers and click here for magazines. And they are giving it, every day morning I'm getting this mail.
Yeah, but sharing the link is
Dinesh, just one point I would like to add over here.
Yeah.
That many a times what happens is, many newspapers, they give on a subscription basis. So my view is that if that newspaper gives on a subscription basis to an individual, so because that subscription is for that individual, that cannot be related. If these are free newspapers or free links, then definitely they can be given. This is my view.
Okay, there is one more question. What are the responsibilities of an admin with respect to misinformation and disinformation? Can you just elaborate on that, Dinesh?
Dinesh can take it.
Yeah, so I won't be the right person to talk about that. That's why I recommended that a lawyer is required. And I'd even mentioned, I myself attended one webinar by a criminal lawyer who talked about 5 different, acts and various liabilities under that. And he did talk about some liabilities on the admin also. So I think that's
so
a topic for a
quantification
separate
cannot be
webinar.
done. Quantification cannot be done as you're not an expert on it. But one thing we can understand that yes, there can be a liability.
There can be a liability.
There can be a liability. Okay.
There can be liability under various situations, various sections. Yeah. Right.
Okay. I think so. We leave it to there. Yes, there can be a liability. What, how much, and when, and how it will be done. The quantification, there is a separate authority who can look into it. But yes, there is a liability and the responsibility.
Absolutely.
So I would say it is not a proud moment to be an admin of a group where something wrong is being posted time and again. So nothing to be proud of. Great.
So, I would
Please.
like to differ somewhere. Yes, there is a liability, but safeguards can be taken. The query is what safeguards should you take? I think Dinesh had made it very clear how to check messages, and if the admin also feels that there is a problem and he wants the member, then he can be saved of the liability that the moment it came to his notice, he had immediately warned the member to delete the message and take action. So I think that he can safeguard his liability.
Yeah, so something which you would like to be proud of, it's better to take it with responsibility.
Yeah.
Right, thank you. Any other queries anybody has? We're waiting on the Zoom chat.
I'm looking at one query by Advocate Ashutosh Bharadwaj, which is addressed to me.
Tell me.
Yeah, he has mentioned that last screen of the CBIC is with a blue tick, and CBIC saying it is false. So how do I check it? Very good, because if you notice at the end of my presentation, I had mentioned that do not believe in any image, because it's very easy for me to type something and put a blue tick next to that. So that is what my answer is, Go to Twitter and go to CBIC and see whether it's appearing there or not. So that answers your query.
Dinesh, blue tick is not being given to everybody nowadays because it is on some select criteria. So blue tick cannot just be the criteria that it is a genuine message.
Absolutely right, because not everybody can get a blue tick. But what I mentioned is that every government department has a blue tick. Right? If you see CBIC or Finance Ministry or departments of government, they have a blue tick.
Right.
So that's easier for us, But Vijay or Dinesh Tejwani doesn't have a blue tick. So this is it, It's easier for us to go to blue tick in our realm of work, in our profession, and check it.
I'll just add to what Dinesh has just said, that what image which Dinesh had shown in his slide, yes, that was specifically, purposely with an image with a blue tick, which meant that even an image can be photoshopped with having a blue tick. So don't blindly go follow. But if you yourself go on Twitter and check that handle, the handle with a blue tick, you can be more authenticate. Okay. But if it is forwarded by somebody, doesn't mean that even though it is a blue tick, it is a true thing. You yourself go on Twitter, find out, and which is what Vijay and I normally do. So whenever a message comes to us, I and Vijay normally, before forwarding it to any group or otherwise, we ourselves go on Twitter, we check it, and we see, yes, it is actually there. And this specifically happens in case of extensions. With the GST extensions coming in on a daily basis, it becomes very difficult for us to keep a tab. So yes, we follow GST, GOV, GST, 3 GST sites on Twitter, which we follow. And from there, once it is uploaded there and we verify it, then only we send it across. Okay, there is one more query. What Shailesh has to say, that means the admin always has to be alert and has to check every time. My answer would be yes. With power comes a greater responsibility. And once we have this power and the responsibility at executing time, you may have a lot of difficulties also to face. So yes, you have to, it's not a happy seat to be in. Okay, Vijay, one more thing. Is it risky to have a synced Google account which is synced to our email ID when the same email ID is also used for net banking, credit card, etc.?
For that matter, it is not risky, but because Google you cannot avoid. Once you log into Google, you practically, that's what I said. In today's world, nothing is free, everything, nothing is private. Every information is there in the open. You cannot avoid, "Yare, ye information main nahi dunga." Practically, you sit at home, you go to a restaurant, and once you are put on Google and you come out of a restaurant, they will give you a pin message. You get a message that please rate the hotel. How was it this thing? How was it? So your location is always there in spite of that. But wherever you can avoid, please avoid it. Yes, his basic question is in relation to the passwords and all. As I told you, Google just checks it for their publicity. They don't share the information. So I don't think it is much of a risky, and you have no other option for that.
Okay.
Can I just add here regarding password? There are
Please.
tools available. Like one tool is LastPassword. So what it does is it auto generates, all the passwords for every website. And all you need to do is just remember password for this app only. So there are a lot of such tools available. Most of them are free or they cost, small amounts. So this is something which can be tried.
There is a question by Rajesh Chawla also. Movies on YouTube do they come under purview of privacy? I think because in YouTube they have already put it on a public platform, and YouTube has very good copyright laws information. So if it is something copyrighted and which cannot be put in, YouTube themselves would take the action. So I think safely we can view the movies on YouTube.
Great. Any more questions anybody has now? Can I ask Rajiv Srivastav to please unmute his mic?
वो नहीं है, OP शुक्ला को.
Huh?
OP शुक्ला को बोलना है.
Mr. OP Shukla, are you there? OP Shukla ji, can you please unmute your mic? Okay, I think so. OP is not responding. Ashok, can I request you, Ashok Mundani, to just unmute your mic, please? Ashok?
OP Shukla ji is on.
Is on? I can't hear him. OP ji? OP Shukla, sir?
His voice is not coming. He's on. Okay, Ashok, you please.
I can't hear. Ashok, you are there online, right?
Right.
Yeah, Ashok, I request Ashok Mangnani to please propose a formal vote of thanks for Dinesh Tejwani and Vijay Kevalramani. Please, Ashok.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you for giving me this privilege. The presentation by Dinesh and Vijay has been really eye-opener. I am very active on social media, and we all really take it for granted. But then, recent even I think morning I was hearing Prime Minister. He also talked about this fake news and all this. So the kind and the animosity is created between communities and countries through these platforms. I present a very hearty vote of thanks for both Vijay Kevalramani and Dinesh Tejwani, both great friends of mine, and all of us. Thank you so much.
So,
Thank you so
thank you all. Thank you all participants.
Thank you all. Thank you all the participants.
And I think so with this, we'll end the meeting.